Hey everyone, this is Ryan H. Lewis, and today I want to talk about the cool new utility from the NPM team called NPX. We're going to talk about what it is and then look at some examples of what you can do with it and why you would want to use it. So, first, we'll start with what is NPX. It's essentially a new CLI tool from the NPM team. It ships with NPM starting at version 5.2.0. So, if you install npm past that version, you'll see that it has also installed a binary called npx. And basically, you can think of it as a node package executor. Its primary goal is to run node packages in a variety of ways. Some of these ways are as follows. You can execute local binaries very easily by just using the npx command and then passing the name of the binary. This is different from normal execution because usually when you execute a local binary, you have to add the node modules slash .bin path to the command. And this can get a little tiresome adding this boilerplate every time. You can also run binaries that aren't actually installed yet. So let's say you've got something like Webpack that you want to run, but you haven't installed it yet. You can just execute the command npx webpack and it will go and download that binary and then execute it. It installs to a temporary location, so once the execution is complete, it will be gone. And finally, you can run command strings. So using the -c argument, you can execute different node commands. So the first use case for npx that I want to look at is running your local dependencies as if they were global. If you've got a project where you install a package locally, such as serverless in this case, and you wanted to use it, you would have to add the full path when executing the command, like so. This isn't the end of the world, but it can get kind of tiresome to always add the node modules bin path to any command that you want to run locally. This especially causes problems when you're writing npm scripts because you have to keep referencing this node modules bin all over your file, and sometimes it can get difficult to find out what the command is actually doing. With npx now, you can have your local dependency installed and use the npx command instead of adding the whole path. Yes, you do have to add the npx command, but I feel like it's better than adding that whole path to the command. The next use case is for global binaries that you don't use a lot. Perfect examples are things like Yeoman or Webpack CLI or Create React App that you use maybe once a month that you don't depend on for your everyday work. npx allows you to not keep these dependencies locally and instead just download and run them when you actually need them. In this case, I don't have Webpack CLI installed globally, but I want to run it locally. So I can use npx with the Webpack CLI and then pass that Webpack CLI commands like init and using the React add-on. npx will download that Webpack CLI binary and then it will execute it with the arguments that I gave it. The next use case for npx is being able to try packages before you actually download and run them. This is especially great for packages that have new versions. You can check out the new version before you decide whether to upgrade your project or not. Let's take this project, for instance, where I have Webpack installed globally, and it's currently at version 2.6.1. With Webpack 3.0, the team introduced some optimizations with bundling your assets so that the end result is smaller than previous versions. So I can try that out using npx and run Webpack at version 3.0 to see what the difference would look like on my project. And you can see the second call was with 3.0 and it saved me a couple of bytes. Another great example of this is when you're developing something actively and maybe you need to test out some local code. In my case, I was testing out a new fix for a bug in serverless and needed to try the code that was in the fix branch. With npx, I can execute the serverless project from the Git repository at a specific branch to see if it fixed my issue. Without npx, I'd have to do some npm link stuff and pull down the remote repository, so it helps out a lot when you're trying to do things like this. And the last feature is just something kind of cool that npx can do. Because you're able to run packages from sources other than the npm repository, things like a Git repo, or a gist, you can execute gists right in your command line very easily. In this case, I have a gist that I've created, and I can execute it by just running npx and then the URL to the gist. It'll download the gist code and then it'll execute it. Now, there's a huge caveat to this because a lot of times gist code is something that you didn't create yourself. So be careful anytime you're running a gist like this and make sure that you have read the code that you're going to be executing locally. And that's not all of the things you can do with npx, but those were a lot of the things I thought were cool and you might be able to get some instant use out of. Was there anything that I missed, or was there a particular one that you kind of latched onto? I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments below. And make sure to like this video and subscribe for more videos like this on Node, Webpack, AWS, serverless, and whatever new thing I read about on Hacker News this week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.